Welcome students. Today we are dealing with class 11th biology plant kingdom part 4 and today we will study about pteridophytes and some properties of gymnosperms. Now pteridophytes habitat, so they live in cool, damp where moisture is found and shady places, and some varieties are also found in sandy soil. Now they are the first terrestrial plants or first land plants to have vascular tissues, means they are the first plants to have xylem and phloem. This is important character in view of evolution. The main plant body is sporophyte. So the main plant body is vegetative. It is diploid or 2n and it has root, stem and leaves properly developed. The leaves may be small. The leaves are called microphylls if they are small, as in Selaginella, and the leaves may be large when they are called macrophyll, as in ferns. The sporophyte has sporangia on leaf-like structures called sporophylls. So the sporophyte body has certain bag-like, small bag-like structures on some leaves, and such leaves are called sporophylls. Now the sporangia bag produces spores. In some cases, the sporophylls or these leaves, they form compact groups. They form small groups, and such groups are called strobioli or cones. Example is Selaginella and Equisetum. Equisetum is also called horse tail because it resembles the tail of a horse, like the hare. Here we can see some diagrams of pteridophytes. The A diagram is of Selaginella. It has stem, leaves and roots. We can identify the parts. The B figure is Equisetum. It has strobilus or cone, node, internode, branch, rhizome and leaves can also be seen. In the C figure is fern with large leaves and the D is Salvinia. So we can see that leaves, stem and root can be identified. The sporangia or bag-like structure on leaves, they produce spores by meiosis or reduction division in spore mother cells. So the cells which form spores are called spore mother cells. The spores germinate to form small multicellular free-living photosynthetic thalloid gametophyte. So when the spores germinate, gametophyte stage is produced, which is haploid or N, and it is called prothallus. So it can produce its own food. Gametophyte require cool, damp, shady place to grow. They need water for fertilization. So they need water for fertilization of gametes. That is the reason why pteridophytes are also limited to certain areas. So just like bryophytes, they are also limited in distribution because they need water for fertilization. Gametophyte has male and female sex organs. Now the male organ is called antheridium and the female is called archegonium. Water is required for transfer of male gamete, which is called anthrozoids. The fusion of gametes forms zygote. Now zygote is formed inside the female sex organ, which is called archegonium. The zygote produces multicellular differentiated sporophyte. So the zygote divides and forms multicellular body. And finally the sporophyte is formed. In many plants, all the spores formed are of same kind, of same size, of same shape. They are called homosporous. Homo means same. But in some plants, two kinds of spores are produced. Now the large spores are called macro and the small ones are called microspores. Example is Selaginella and Salvinia. And this condition is called heterosporous. Hetero means different. The megaspores and microspores germinate. Now the megaspore form female gametophyte and the microspore form male gametophyte. The female gametophyte is retained on parent sporophyte. So the female gametophyte, it is not independent. It is connected to the parent. Development of zygote into young embryo takes place in female gametophyte. So the zygote develops into embryo. Now this event resembles like the seed habit, same as the seed develops inside a fruit. So it is a precursor to seed habit. We see that in evolution the seeds might have been formed from this kind of condition. So in pteridophytes we can see that two conditions are there related to evolution. The first is that they have vascular tissue, and the second is that they are precursor to seed habits. Now pteridophytes are used for medicines. They are soil binders, means they are grown so that they can hold the soil in their roots. They prevent soil erosion. They are mostly ornamental, so mostly they are used in decoration, like in bouquet. We can see the leaves are surrounding the flowers. They have two types of plants: horsetails, which is equisetum, which resemble like the hairy tail of a horse, and ferns, which have well developed leaves. Pteridophytes are divided into four classes. The first is Psilopsida. Example is Psilotum plant. Lycopsida. Example is Lycopodium and Selaginella. Sphenopsida. Example is Equisetum or horsetail. Pteropsida, which has Dryopteris. It is also called fern, pteris and adiantum. So these three plants are there in Pteropsida. Now we can see another group. The next plant group is Gymnosperm. Gymnos means naked or which is not covered, and sperma means seed. So the seeds are not covered. Ovules are not enclosed in ovary wall. The seed that develop after fertilization are not covered. So the seeds are exposed. They are not inside a fruit. They have medium-sized trees, tall trees and shrubs. Now the giant redwood tree or sequoia is one of the tallest tree species. So one tree is there which is the tallest tree. The roots are tap roots. So tap roots are those which have a main root. Some genera have fungal association in roots. So some plants like Pinus, they have fungus living in their roots. Such association is called mycorrhiza. Myco means fungus and rhiza means root. In some plants, specialized roots called coralloid roots are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. So in some plants, in special roots called coralloid roots, nitrogen fixing blue-green algae live. Here we can see giant redwood tree. It is very thick. The stem are unbranched. So in some plants the stem is not having many branches. Example is Cycas, and it may be branched. Example is Pinus and Cedrus. Cedrus is also called Deodar in common language. The leaves are simple or compound. So in some plants the leaves are simple. Simple means it has a single leaf blade, and compound means it is divided into pieces. Like we can see the neem leaf. In Cycas, pinnate leaves are persistent for few years. So in Cycas plant we can see pinnate leaf. Pinnate leaf are those which have a thin stalk and the small leaflets are on the sides. For example, we can see neem. In neem the main stalk is there and leaves are surrounding. Same is the case with Cycas. Leaves are well adapted to extreme conditions. So they can survive in extreme conditions like temperature, humidity and wind. In some plants like conifers, needle-like leaves are there. So leaves have become needle-like, so they reduce the surface area. So transpiration or loss of water cannot take place. The cuticle is also thick. So the leaves are covered by a waxy layer called cuticle, and the stomata are sunken. So the stomata are not on the surface, but they are in a certain depression in the surface, so that water is not lost. in this figure we can see A, cycas, which is not branched. B is pinus, we can see many branches, and another diagram is there, ginkgo, which we will discuss in the next class. It is a living fossil, means it has some primitive characters of plants. Okay children, thanks.